This is a DJ penguin with an AK-47. This is a very aggressive pink Harambe. And this is your Thanksgiving dinner that shoots missiles out of his butt. In this video, I have 100 days to beat two of ARK's most popular mods, Pugnacia and Parados. We will be doing this on the huge and beautiful map, Crystal Isles. We also have some major goals to achieve along the way, but I'll explain them later on. Let's go. Here we go. Waking up in a strange-ass beach to only look at our arm, see something's in it, and scratch it. But there's something better to look at, like this Bronto's ass. We don't really have time to be playing around. We need to get stuck into it. So we run around, collect some stones, punch some trees, and start making our first tools. I then take a glimpse over this cliff just to see the area. And damn, Crystal Isles looks very beautiful. But because we're playing modded, even the dodos want to kill you. Oh crap. Okay, dodos are not our friends. Okay, let's try this once again. Waking up on this beach, we go ahead, collect all of our stuff to create some tools, and then we see this dead body in the water. Oh, it's alive, it's alive. I thought it was dead. Not dead. Then we spot some dodos on the beach, so we play our favorite game. Punch the dodo in the face and stab the dodo in the face. Look, we really needed to gather their hide, and it's pretty easy hide. They're all pretty cool colors at the moment because as the time we were recording, it was the Easter event. We also tamed this one, and because it's the Pugnacia mod, we can tame them passively by putting berries in their butt. And this is our first tame, and his name is Jesse. I think it's time we start being a little bit more serious, so I took Jesse to go try and find a base spot. And this spot next to this rock seems kind of safe and kind of nice for now at least. And now that we have our base all set up, it's time to go and explore. Since we're on Crystal Isles, obviously there's heaps of crystal around. So go and farm some of that so we can make ourselves an awesome spyglass. The morning of day 2, we set on out to try and bring some friends home. Yes, we are gonna go tame some dinos. So we knocked out and tamed this dilo, and we named him Wesley. I don't really know why, but he kind of looks like a Wesley. Later on that day, we saw this featherlight, and if we read closely, it says it's rideable and no saddle required. And since it's a passive tame, this might be a quick and easy flying mount for us to use to start off with. Once we finally tamed him, we named him Ruben. I don't really know where I'm getting these names from, but if you have any suggestions, post something in the comments below. Not gonna lie, having a flying mount on day 2 is pretty OP, but on a map like this, we're gonna need it. Without hesitation, we flew to the top of this rock so we could start mining some metal. But I'm feeling a little bit naked, so we put some clothes on too. Then we started harvesting these metal nodes. Back at our little tiny base, we placed down 2 forges, started smelting up some of our metal, and then we waited till a little bit later to be able to put down our Pugnacia smithy and a normal smithy. Day 3, we went back out to go and explore and grab some metal nodes. I'm kind of surprised though, Ruben can hold a lot of weight for a little tiny bird. We then went on to search for a place that we could call home for this 100 days. While exploring, we got to see some of this map that I've never seen before. I haven't really played much of Crystal Isles, but these floating islands are pretty damn cool. After exploring a large chunk of the map, we settled on this area. I think it's quite good because it's pretty central to the whole map and it's nice and open and large and flat. So now we must build our base. So yeah, we've laid down the foundation of our base. We started this little circle hexagonal design because I thought it might be pretty cool. But wait, what's that over there? Oh, that's Kalia, my stepmom, and she's from today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid has over 600 champions to choose from that you can truly customize your squad to suit your playstyle. But Kalia is definitely a must. Not only is she beautiful, she's always down to smash things. I also can't forget Tatua Rhymehide. This fantastical beast is a fierce champion to have on your team. But there's also a new girl in town that I'm really excited to use, and her name is Deliana. But she's only here for a short time. You can get her on your team if you like. All you have to do is play Raid for 7 days between now and July 20. If you get her, screenshot her and send it to my Discord, and I'll give you a special reward on me. This is the best time to get started in Raid Shadow Legends, and if you use my link in the description, you will receive a free starter pack valued at almost $40. You will receive these champions: Misericord, Tiger Soul, and Romero, and 30 XP brews to make your champions way stronger. And to add to this, for a short time, if you use my code MyDeliana, you will receive a further 50 XP brews instantly, which you can boost Deliana to level 50 in 3.65 seconds. But from me and my stepmom Kalia, thank you Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Day 4, we packed up our old little base. We put Jesse, our dodo, and Wesley, our dilo, away in some soul traps. Then we murdered a helpless little turtle, and we found this drop that had some kibble in it, which is some pretty decent loot. And now back at our new base location, we had to lay down our essentials: the Parados smithy, a normal smithy, and our Pugnacia smithy. We dropped down a couple forges, and of course I had to make ourselves some new drip from the new Parados smithy. We then went out to go find some dinos that can help us with our cores. We did find this Conflagrant Maywing. Now all the Conflagrant dinos in the Pugnacia mod have certain abilities that can help us out. The Maywing here is like a wireless generator. It produces electricity just like a tech generator would, which is pretty crazy to have in this early game. We named this Conflagrant Maywing Yellow because he's yellow. Yeah. While out exploring, we came across this magmasaur egg, and no magmasaur or anything dangerous in sight. So we stole it like a thief in the night. We finished the day off with squashing some oversized ugly bugs. We needed their chitin so we can make some cementing paste. Day 5, we went out to go tame these 2 trikes. Why 2, you ask? Well, just because 2 is better than 1. But unfortunately, this frozen titan boa with 1.9 million health decided to eat them for their lunch. So I guess we gotta go look for something else. But we did come across this conflagrant ankylo. And the one cool thing about them is they work like an industrial forge, as well as beasts at collecting metal. While it was knocked out, we knew it would take a little bit of time before it was fully tamed up. So we left it here and went on out to go tame some more creatures, like this Dodicarus that was just chilling around our base. When out exploring for more tames, we came across the Griffin Trench. And damn, that's a lot of crazy lion chickens. Close by the lion chickens, we found this blood crystal wyvern egg. We of course took it, but we don't really have much use for it at the moment. And then we finally found another trike that was worth taming. And thanks to the Pugnacia strong train carriers, it was easy to put down. And for some reason, Ruben was chucking a fit on the side there. I think he was jealous of me giving more attention to another dinosaur. We then saw this crab. He said that he wasn't subscribed, so I killed him. So please subscribe, because apparently 94% of you aren't subscribed yet. And I don't really want to keep killing all these crabs. Or do I? I then checked our taming tracker, and it was taking a bit of time. So we went out on our Dodicarus so we could farm some stones so we could start continuing to work on our base. Day 6, we returned to our trike to see that it was fully tamed up, so now we could start mass gathering some narco berries. I then checked our taming tracker to see how our Anki was going, and it was almost there, but we still had a little bit of time. So we flew over to the area that the Anki was, we got our trike out, and we named him Bruno. Then we started gathering some berries from all around the place while we waited for our Anki to wake up. Then our Anki finally woke up, and we named him Theo. We then put him in a soul trap, flew back to base, then we took him out again to start harvesting some metal. Not only does he harvest a lot of metal, but he harvests a lot of berries at the same time. After collecting all that metal, we had no reason to put it in any forges, because Theo works like a forge too. With all that sorted, we started working on stage 2 of our base. And the final little touches, our gate, industrial forge, soul terminal, and then that night, we could see the entire base from the sky. I haven't put a roof on it, but I kind of like the open design. Day 7, we returned to the floating islands, because apparently you can find silica pearls in their ponds or lakes or rivers. I don't really know what they're called, but yeah, whatever. We gathered the silica pearls from the water, which thankfully was quite easy, and there was nothing really dangerous around. Back at base, we placed down a water well, put down these foundations so we could start making a little farm so we could start growing some crops. Day 8, we continued finding more creatures to tame, and we found this Easter bunny. And being the Easter event, we had to tame it, and we named this Easter bunny Bugs Bunny. I know it's not that original, but it's what I came up with at the time. We also tamed a Velonosaur that we named Victor. They're good to have around the base on tyrant mode, just to protect us a little bit. Day 9, we tamed one of the coolest looking creatures yet, a Nightmare Pegasus. Let's just take a second and appreciate how cool this thing looks. He's also one of our most powerful creatures yet, doing over 4,000k damage. It's pretty decent. So we slaughtered every dino we could possibly find. Until that happened and he died. Yeah, well that was short-lived. My bad. Day 10, we encountered an adolescent conflagrant Rex. So I shot some trank darts at it and it ran away. It must be passive because it's not fully grown yet. It started running towards us and I got scared. But as it got close, it turned around, we shot it and put it to sleep. It didn't really take much for us to be able to tame it thanks to this ghrelin tonic. It makes dinosaurs' food starve straight away. And once this girl was tamed, we named her Gwen. When Gwen was fully grown, we took her out to see what kind of damage she could do. And this Bronto was her first meal. 17k damage, not bad. And since she does some pretty decent damage, we went to go get some revenge for our Nightmare Pegasus on these wicked Spinos that killed her earlier. Day 11, while exploring, we spot an abandoned Pegasus. And after losing the Nightmare Pegasus, this is a cool replacement. So I got off my bird and shot a trank at it. I really should have built a trap for it because it made us run around for a very long time. It was a pretty rookie move. But then we got extremely lucky and this happened. Yeah, it ended up getting stuck in this little crack, which fortunately for us made it a very easy tame. So we named him Gabriel. While flying around on Gabriel, we found this TBF direwolf. When we finally tranked him out and put him to sleep, we got surprise attacked by this pink pussycat.
Oh no.
But Gabriel ate him. When the wolf awoke, we named him Jacob Black. But then we got slapped by something. And then everything went dark. When we returned back to our dead body, Jacob Black had died, just like his career. Then soon after, Gabriel died too. Day 12, we had one goal, and that was to get a better long neck rifle than the current one we have, this primitive rifle. So I made this blueprint creator in hopes to make a decent blueprint to make an ascendant long neck rifle. But because I'm an idiot, I couldn't figure out how to make it work. So I spent the rest of the day just looking for drops in hopes to be able to find a decent long neck rifle, but we didn't find anything. Day 13, we got the blueprint creator to work. Turns out all we had to do was just turn on the wireless generator yellow. With the blueprint creator finally working, we got an Ascendant long neck rifle blueprint. But it's really damn expensive. We need at least 50,000 metal ingots. We really need an Ascendant rifle to be able to knock out some of these more powerful dinos. So we went out on Theo and started smashing some metal rocks. This took up a big chunk of the day. When we got bored of gathering metal, we went out on Gwen, our conflagrant Rex, to go murder some animals for their hide. Day 14, we're back at it. We're gathering more metal. Now, we've gathered a lot of metal, but it's going to take quite a time for it to be able to smelt down. So we tamed another conflagrant Anchor to help speed things up, and we named her Helen. But this time, we pumped all of its levels into its crafting skills because that speeds up the smelting process. While we waited for all that metal to smelt, we went out on a little bit of a taming spree. We tamed a conflagrant Morellatops that we named Toppy, and when you feed them eggs, they then craft kibble. We then tamed an Oviraptor to help us get more eggs. Next, we tamed a brown griffin that we named Ricardo, and finally we tamed the golden poop beetle that would help us get some fertilizer for our farm. Day 16, we took Gwen out on a leisurely stroll, and we saw this turkey, and Gwen was hungry, so we started biting this turkey, but we didn't know that this turkey had some special abilities, like these death missiles. Oops, we killed Gwen. We died soon after. With all the dangers in the world, I figured I'd just get back to doing what I do best. And that's mining and building. So I built this little balcony area to look over our kingdom. On the brighter side of things, we finally have enough materials to make the long neck rifle that we've been waiting so long for. With our new Ascendant long neck rifle, we went straight out to tame a primal Argentavis. And in one shot, we took it straight down. We had it knocked out in the water, so we swam straight over it to feed it some golden kibble. As soon as we did, we peeked up and we saw this red outline out of the water. It was a Reaper. But it didn't kill us. Instead, it impregnated us. It's probably because I'm sexy. But still, it's not fun to be violated by a big blue, green, scaly thingy. We did end up dying to our injuries eventually, though. We jumped back on Ruben, went back to where we died, picked up our new RG and our Griffin, and went back to the safety of our base. And this is where we named our new Primal Argentavis Daddy OG. And since the Primal Argentavis is the next tier of dinosaurs, they do some pretty heavy damage. And with that new knowledge, we went to go get revenge for Gwen by destroying this oversized Christmas dinner. Also, when you kill ancients, they drop golden kibble that can instantly tame any primal. Day 17, with this new powerful Daddy OG, we were feeling confident. So we picked a fight with this Prometheus poison gorilla. It was a mistake. And to make matters worse, we had just over a minute left until the Reaper spawn was going to be born and ripped out of my body. And then to make things double worse, we get a notification that Daddy OG died. Oh, no way. We couldn't waste any more time, so I built a door, blocked this area off in my base so the Reaper spawn could spawn out of our body. When we came back to life, we had a peek over the roof to see what our Reaper looked like. While we were waiting for it to grow up a little bit, we went and made some new fresh armor. And this is what it looks like. So it's the top tier flak armor that you can make from the Parados smithy. And now our Reaper has grown just enough that it's not going to run a menace and kill everything around our base. So we let it free. Day 18, and it's time for us to beef up our army. We went out on an adventure to be able to tame some more primal Argentavises. This one wasn't the highest level that we could get, but its colors were too good to pass up. Once fully tamed, we named this pimpin' chicken Daddy D. Next, we tamed this decent level primal Argentavis, which kind of looks like the Celestial RGs from my Primal Fear 100 days. We named this one Daddy Boy. We're kind of going for a theme here. You feel? We immediately took Daddy Boy out to explore the area. Then we came across this Primal Trike. And you know your boy needs to tame this one. The one thing that makes Primal Trikes really cool, they have cannons on their head. So we named this guy Blast Boys. Kind of like Blastoise, but like not. We then found this colorful Jaboa with an afro called Jabob Ross. So we shot him in the back of the head, shoved some berries up his butt, and made him become our friend. We didn't name him because Jabob Ross is already pretty cool. I had now learned that our Primal Argentavis' special ability is that the more dinosaurs that you can kill in a short period of time equals the more damage that the Argentavis does. So we went and murdered a ton of dinos to see how far we could push this. 124,000, 163,000, 217,000, 268,000, up to 310,000 seems to be our limit. It's nice to have a dino that can slap some other dinos around. So now, after being labeled ARK's #1 serial killer, we teleported back to base so we could make something very important, Pugnacia's Ascension Portal. Now, Primevals and Pugnacia's bosses can spawn into the world. So now we must focus on taming all the Pugnacia bosses and defeating all the Ascension bosses before day 50. But before the day ends, we tame this female Primal Argentavis. So now we can start breeding them up. And we named this pink chicken Big Mama P. Oh yeah, we also tamed this primal arthropleura. We named him Artie. It's not that creative, but you know, we were in a rush. These things are good because if you put them on wander, they gather artifacts. Day 19, we tamed this conflagrant beelzebuffer. Now these creatures work like a mobile chemistry bench, so we named him Pablo Escobar. We then tamed this conflagrant spino that once you put raw meat in it, it cooks the meat for you. We called this gentleman Quasimodo because he's got like a hunch on his back. Later that day, we encountered this guardian giga with 9.2 million torpor. But I think we're in the perfect location because there's lots of rock formations around that we can get good vantage points to be able to knock it out. After a lengthy ordeal, we finally knocked it out on day 20. We named this guy a very simple name, Richard. I was so excited to have this giga on our team until we tested him out. He kind of sucks. So yeah, we just took him back to base and left him there. I suppose he'll be good for decoration. With everything going so well so far, we needed a new fresh haircut. And of course, we went with my signature style. I'd now decided we need to build ourselves a baby pen, somewhere that we can use to start raising the new generation of dinos. We're going to need some pretty strong dinos in order to be able to complete this 100 days and defeat all the bosses. We placed down these final air conditioners, placed down our eggs, and hatched our first little lot of babies. Day 21, while traveling the map, we found this Prometheus fire manticore with 1.5 million health. It started to chase us down, but it seemed like we weren't fast enough, so we had to go head on and fight it. Unfortunately, it put me and Daddy Boy to sleep, leading us to our certain death. I then took Ruben and returned back to the manticore in hopes to retrieve Daddy Boy without dying. But again, we got way too close to this powerful beast. And because of my foolish actions, we had lost our oldest friend, Ruben. No, Ruben! I couldn't let this go unanswered. I had two options. This manticore is either gonna die or we're gonna tame him. But come on, look at his stats. We have to tame the beast. After a few lucky shots, we put him to sleep, but he kind of sleeps kind of sus. Are you asleep? Because you don't look asleep. You sleep standing up. Kind of weird, bro. Once we tamed him, we named him Arthur. Yeah, he kind of reminds me of my great uncle Arthur with the red beard. I couldn't wait. I was so excited we flew straight back to base so we could make Arthur a saddle. I really wanted to see what he could do. Our first victim to test our strength is this defense unit. Yeah, and we just did 3.2 million damage. This is mega OP. And right close to our base was the elemental titanosaur, which is one of the Pugnacia bosses. And with this beast, we took him on. With our first hit, we realized that titanosaur had damage resistance. We weren't doing 3.2 million damage anymore, but we were still doing quite a lot of damage, and the titanosaur wasn't much of a threat. So yeah, this was pretty easy. We then defeated him and unlocked a ton of tech engrams, but it wasn't quite satisfying because it was so easy. So now I have decided that I'll only fight Pugnacia bosses with Pugnacia dinos. Arthur here is actually a Parados dino. So he took him back to base and he's just going to be decoration for now. But lucky for us, once we got back to base, both of our primal Argentavis babies were fully grown and 100% imprinted. We named one of them Dripmaster. I mean, look at his shades and necklace. Day 22, we took Dripmaster out to see if he was worthy to be a part of Team Aaron Aztec. And with one attack doing 390k damage, I think he passes with flying colors. Since now that we have some tech engrams unlocked, we made a tech replicator. We also had to make our life a little bit easier on this massive map by making tech transmitters as well. They're going to help us find some creatures that we either need to kill or tame. I then got to work with the tech transmitter to find our next Pugnacia boss. And sure enough, we got the coordinates for Mr. Fister the Destroyer himself. We found him quickly. He wasn't too far away from our base. And there he is, the weird bald running man. We wasted no time and went straight in for the attack. He set us on fire, so we had to run away. Birds and fire don't mix well. We flew up to the sky to avoid him, but he laid down some meteor attack on us. Oh, didn't know he could do that. Even though we were on fire, it seems like pecking this bald naked man was the best strategy we had. But hey, we still got the win in the end, so we're happy. Even though we're still on fire, we should probably do something about that. Day 23, we found out that you can make a hatchet and a pickaxe that farms at 5 times the rate. So we made this hatchet and went to go see how much damage it could really do. And with one hit of this tree, we were already encumbered. I don't know why I didn't do this to begin with. We then, of course, went and made the Parados pickaxe. And now farming all these metal nodes is so much easier than before. I like this a lot. We then went to the snow biome so we could collect some black pearls from these creepy balls of lightning. This is a unique touch that you can only find in Crystal Isles. Now that we have a ton of metal and a ton of black pearls, we went ahead and made some more tech transmitters. Because the more tech transmitters you have, the better they are at locating dinosaurs on the map. We went straight ahead and started using these tech transmitters to be able to help us find some primevals. Once you kill a primeval creature, they'll drop their respective energy that once you collect enough of them, you can summon in a tame version of the Pugnacia bosses. Right after killing this dragon, we spotted Skarna, the big ass scorpion. And I was feeling super confident, so we went to go fight him. We were doing some pretty decent damage, and I didn't account for the fact that he can grab you and hold you down. I wasn't too bothered though, because we were still doing solid damage. But I didn't account for the fact that he could knock our bird out. This wasn't looking good. With our bird knocked out, I had no other choice but to retreat and go home. I was hoping that if we're out of render distance, he wouldn't kill our bird. Once back at base, I tried to summon Dripmaster to us, but it turns out you can't teleport them if they're unconscious. Well, I guess it's a good thing we're breeding more of them, so who really cares about Dripmaster? Oh, we got some pink ones. Day 24, we took our girl Helen out to go farm some metal. While we were out, we ran into this hell horse. So of course, we had to shoot it in the face and tame it. We named this bad girl Abaddon. We took Abaddon back to base, and she looked a little bit naked, so we put some cool hell horse armor on her. Now really, this hell horse isn't really that useful for us, but she's just another decorative tame. I then realized our baby Argies needed some loving, so we gave them some cuddles and fed them some meat. Now they're gonna grow up to be big and strong. After a little bit of time, they grew up, and we picked this one to replace Dripmaster, and we named this pimpin' chicken Mac Daddy. We didn't waste any time. We took Mac Daddy straight out to fight his first boss. I mean, after all, we had a lot of others to replace him if he died anyway. And now we fight the boss, the third trike. But first, we need to power the RG up by killing all the dinos around him to be able to get the max amount of damage possible. We were doing over 500k damage, but the third trike's special ability is summoning these minions, which were quite a problem. And we couldn't really see what was happening because the damage numbers took up all the screen. It did take us a while, but we did get to defeat the third trike. Yes! We got that win. Yeah, baby. Day 25, it's time we continue on our quest of defeating the Pugnacia mod. Step 1. Kill Primevals. Step 2. Get distracted by a pink sheep by stealing him, running back to base, shooting him with a tranquilizer thinking that's the way to tame him, but then realizing that he's a passive tame. Oh, passive tame. My bad. Day 26, we continued hunting Primevals. They were kind of difficult to find because only 1 or 2 spawn on the map at a time, and sometimes even harder because they'll spawn in the middle of the ocean like this Indominus Rex. We ended day 26 by taming this dodo wyvern and naming him Yu Killer. It was something that my chat came up with. And oh yeah, occasionally I actually stream my 100 days right here on YouTube. So if you want to be notified that I'm streaming, make sure you click that notification button straight after you subscribe. Day 27, we brought Mr. Yu Killer back to our base to admire him. Too bad this overgrown evil chicken looks damn ugly. But I will admit, pretty handy at killing primevals, unless they're stuck underwater like this damn manticore. Again, this freaking map. Day 28, we found this wild primeval manticore. And because he's such a high level, we had to tame him. His colors are pretty nice too. We then gave him the elegant name of Leslie. I think Leslie now is going to be our main dino. Hopefully he doesn't die. We then went to the Ascension Portal to bank all the energies that we've collected from the primevals we've killed. And now we have enough to be able to summon in our first tamed boss. But in order to be able to summon the boss in, we have to sacrifice a primeval. So now we must say goodbye to our dodo wyvern, Yu Killer. And hello to the Pugnacia boss, the third trike. In the early morning of day 29, we fought our next boss, Mothra. Now, Mothra might look like a big, pretty butterfly, but she can be quite fierce. When Mothra hits you with that electric attack, it can do some serious damage. So we have to be careful. But if we get too far away, Mothra also heals up quite quickly. So we had to face her head on. And that strategy seemed to be the most effective one for us. You're dead. Rip. The rest of the day, we just continued our mission, farming these primevals for their energies. Day 30, we found this legendary lion chicken, and I wanted to see if he would be our friend. And the best way to make friends is to put him in a net. Then we trap him in a wall of gates, then shoot him with some drugs in the butt. And as you can see, this is a very effective technique of making friends. We named this guy Big Bird because he's a yellow chicken looking bird thingy, you know, from Sesame Street. After having fun with Big Bird, we yeeted this primeval broodmother. I was getting really frustrated with the primevals only spawning in 1s and 2s in this map, so I used the simple spawners mod to be able to summon in more around the map. Day 31, the simple spawners were working, and now we have a lot more primevals on the map to kill for their energies. So that's exactly what we did. We spent the whole day hunting primevals until we spotted this Noctis bulldog, which was too cute not to tame. I mean, look at the little guy. Even when he's knocked out, he's cute. Once he awoke, we named this ugly cutie Ralph, because he reminds me of Ralph from The Simpsons. Dumb and cute. Day 32, we tamed this wicked Spino, and we named him as a Kazoo. I really have no use for him right now, but you never know. We might need him in the future. I then went on to tame this primeval dragon. Unfortunately, he's not going to be with us for long, as I'm going to use him as a sacrifice to summon in Mothra, our next Pugnacia boss. Now we have our very own Mothra, and we need to see what he can do. I took on this elemental titanosaur, and since Mothra is a flying powerhouse, we defeated this boss with ease. Day 33 and day 34, we spent this time slaughtering primevals. This will be a common occurrence since Pugnacia is a very grindy mod that requires you to gather a lot of energies before you can progress and summon bosses. Day 35, we went to hunt down the rather unique boss named Kareem's little plant friend. We used the transmitter to find him, but when we arrived at the courts, it wasn't there. Since this is a bug, I went ahead with my stream's permission and spawned it in with commands. But for some reason, she spawned and we were stuck inside her. Oh, this is bad. This is a rip. This is a rip. Oh, crap. I thought we were dead for sure. We couldn't evade any of her attacks. But then I realized she couldn't use her ranged attacks against us. So with a few hundred clicks of my mouse, we turned this manticore into a vegan and defeated our 4th Pugnacia boss. Day 36, I went out to tame this manticore that we had planned to sacrifice to summon another Pugnacia boss to our army. I had earlier planted these plant species Z seeds, which has produced some Z fruit, so I threw them at Mothra because she looked hungry. Turns out she didn't like them. I then finished the day by taming this Titanosaur, which I thought might be a good tank for us for the Ascension bosses on day 50. Day 37, we killed more Primevals. I wanted to make sure we'd be able to beat this objective well before day 50. This was our main focus. We did get slightly distracted by the Track the Third boss. He was much easier to kill this time around. Day 38, we now had almost a full set of volcanic armor that drops from the Pugnacia bosses. It's so damn hot, I had to blind you. And with our new armor, we set out to find a certain boss that we need to conquer. This boss we had set our sights on was the Kraken, a creepy looking shellfish thing. With confidence, we fought this monster and got his health to almost halfway. Then with one swift hit, he launches us into the water while cocooned, which means I get dismounted and cannot remount Leslie, our manticore. The Kraken then heals his own health, and then I could see him starting to make his own way towards me. Then he ends my life in one single blow. We then return on our Primal RG to fight this healed Kraken once again. This time, we're making sure to be cautious. We made sure to avoid any way that he could knock us into the water. We ended up defeating him and then gave our manticore a taste for seafood, which I think he likes. Day 39, we tamed this broodmother, and I named it Sacrificial Spider, for obvious reasons. Then my stream dared me to let Ralph fight this primeval broodmother. So we leaped into battle, and then I sent Ralph off to see if he could hold his own against this huge spider. Turns out he's so dumb and didn't do anything. He just stood underneath the spider while getting bitten. So I mounted him and helped him finish the job. We then continued on our goal by using the appropriate named Sacrificial Spider to summon in our very own Kraken. And boy, this thing is ugly. But can he fight? Let's see. I mean, he's pretty good and does high damage, but he's kind of janky to control. So that's another boss added to our collection. We named him Prankum. It came from the stream. I don't really know what it means. After toying around, we went back out to find yet again more primevals to kill. But then we found this high-level dragon. So of course, I spared his life by taming him. We got back to base and named this dragon D's, as in
these nuts. Got him!
Next, we made the hard decision to sacrifice Leslie, our faithful manticore, in order to be able to summon in our very own elemental Titanosaur. I think I'm going to regret sacrificing Leslie though. Day 40, and I instantly regretted my decision on sacrificing Leslie. So I went out to find another manticore to tame. I had seen that there was a really high level manticore on the map, but then yeah, it's freaking bright yellow. Well, I guess he's gonna be easy to find if we lose him ever. Once tamed, we named him Mantichild. That came from my stream, it wasn't on me. On the way back to base, I decided I wanted to tame an underwater tame, just in case we wanted to dive really deep. So once we knocked out the ex-mosasaur, we fed him, but it was going to take a little bit of time, so we'll come back for him later. Day 41, while out hunting for primevals, we ran into another humongous plant boss. So Mantichild made a nice fresh salad out of him. Then we continued finding primevals to kill, but just like modded Ark's true fashion, we had another dodo wyvern spawn underwater. This keeps happening. Day 42, we remembered that we had a mosasaur knocked out, so we rushed over to him and picked him up. We then used our new mosa to fight our next Pugnacia boss, and probably the hardest boss we had to fight so far, Tempest, the bringer of the rain. Yeah, that's him wiggling his ass out of that rock. We went to attack with the Mosa, but soon realized that Tempest had over 130 million health, and this Mosa just wasn't going to cut it out for this fight. Instead, we used the Mosa to guide Tempest out of the water, and then switched over to Mantichild to deal significantly more damage. Now that the fight's out of the water, we're in our element. So we take on Tempest, but he keeps releasing these tornado attacks. They're more of a nuisance than anything. We start doing some damage and get his health down. 78 million health, we're almost halfway, but so are we. Luckily, I have health potions. 38 million health, we are making great progress. 15 million, he's down to 5 million, and we finally defeat Tempest the Rainbringer and unlock more tech engrams. After we killed Tempest, my stream was inspired, so they named our Mosa. Yeah, Mosa Lisa. Really original, guys. And then we traveled back to base for a well-deserved rest. Day 43, we tamed this high-level Indominus Rex, only so we could sacrifice him to summon in our very own Tempest the Rainbringer. We then immediately went out to go and see what Tempest could do. I won't lie, it was weird riding a dino that could fly in the air and swim underwater at the same time. We also got to visit some areas I haven't seen before, like this honey cave. It's now day 44 and we're getting so close to day 50. I'm unsure if we're gonna have enough time to defeat all of Pugnacia's challenges, but there's nothing else we can do than get straight into it and hunt down our next Pugnacia boss. This time, we're going after Skarna, the big-ass shiny scorpion. Once we finally get our eyes on him, we engage him in battle to only get picked up by his stinger. We continued to do damage to Skarna, but as we were striking, he struck us and knocked out our Manta Child. I immediately tried to run for my life, but he grabbed onto me too. I thought then it was over for me. But by the grace of God, I got released and made a straight dash with a keen eye over my shoulder, making sure we could outrun this Skarna. Phew. We got away, and Skarna is de-aggroed, but the next challenge is I need to get back to Manta Child and wake him up using this potion. We sneak behind Skarna and wake up our Manticore. Now that we're back in action, my stream let me know of a strat that could take down Skarna easily. Apparently, all you need to do is lick his butt. Yeah, and he doesn't attack you because he likes it so much. In the end, this was actually a rather easy win. We went back to our base and I saw that we had received a new item, Skarna's Tail Spike. It's basically a pike that does massive torpor damage. So of course, I wanted to test it out. Hey, you go to sleep, you go to sleep, and you go to sleep. I'd wish I had this earlier. We then ended this day off by taming this primeval phoenix that would later probably sacrifice. Day 45 and time is running out. We need to take on the final and honestly our hardest Pugnacia boss, Spinebreaker. Now there is a special strategy we need to implement to be able to defeat Spinebreaker, because he has this bubble attack that will 100% end your life if you touch it. So our strat for this fight was to keep the aggro of Spinebreaker and walk backwards while healing our dino with potions. This was an extremely effective strat because we avoided that bubble very easily. But if at any time we got stuck by a tree or a rock and Spinebreaker drops that bubble, we are done for. As you can see here, we did get stuck. Oh no, we're stuck. But luckily we made a swift escape. After a long bit of walking around and biting, we had finally defeated Pugnacia's hardest boss, Spinebreaker. And of course, after defeating Spinebreaker, I couldn't wait. I had to summon in my very own. I sacrificed that fire pigeon that we got earlier to be able to summon in our very own Spinebreaker. Then we wanted to see what he could do. And damn, this guy is seriously OP. The bubble attack is definitely my favorite. And since we only had 5 days left until we need to take on the Ascension bosses, I built this cloning machine and started cloning Spinebreaker so we could have a super army to take down these bosses. Day 46, we may have defeated our last Pugnacia boss, but we still need to tame them all in order to complete this challenge. We still need Mr. Fister and Skarna to complete our collection, and I cannot summon them in without a primeval sacrifice. So we went out to go find some high-level primevals that we could tame to sacrifice to be able to summon them in. It wasn't until day 47 that we tamed these two high-level primevals to use as a sacrifice. This level 1008 Dodo Wyvern and this Megapithecus that decided to go for a swim. As soon as we arrived back at base, we summoned in our own Skarna, which for some reason was summoned buried underground. And then we used our green Homopithecus to summon in our Homo sapien, Mr. Fister. And now we have completed one stage of our challenge, collecting all the Pugnacia bosses. It's now day 48 and we only have 2 days left to defeat the Ascension bosses. I really wanted to make sure that we had a strong enough army to be able to fight them. So we went out to go kill another Spinebreaker in order to be able to summon another one in. I went in on this Spinebreaker with our Manta Child, but also bringing a Spinebreaker with us to make the fight a little bit easier. This was a mistake. Our Spinebreaker got too close to the bubble and died. Soon after, our Manticore died also. I luckily made an escape and teleported back to base. At this point, I was desperate and started making huge mistakes. Now, I know I said I wouldn't use Arthur, our Parados Manticore, but like I said, I was desperate. I was so flustered and the pressure got to me knowing that I had limited time to complete this challenge that I also got Arthur killed. Frickin' hell, that was a rip. So now I'm back at base and I'm not giving up, but I do know how to defeat Spinebreaker. So I quickly went to the Redwoods and tamed up this Manticore, and because of his colors, I named him Ghost. With about 15 minutes left of daytime, I took Ghost to go defeat Spinebreaker. This was an intense fight, knowing that if I lost this one, I would have lost 3 of my most powerful creatures all for nothing. Luckily, in the end, we were patient and we got this win, but we have been set back a lot. Day 49, we quickly gathered more energies and a high-level primeval to sacrifice so we could summon in yet another Spinebreaker. But before we did, I put this tech chest piece on. We almost had a full set, we were just missing the shoes. With 1 day left to go, we crafted the Ascension Arena, ready to finish off this chapter and finish the Pugnacia mod completely. I finished the day off by cloning this Mr. Fister, and I tried figuring out how to breed these Spinebreakers. I couldn't get it to work. Day 50, and today's the day that we must fight the Ascension bosses. We only now just figured out how to breed Spinebreaker with the help of natural causes.
Hey Aaron, how's it going?
Yo, what's up, Nat? Hey, quickly, I have a question.
Yeah,
I can't breed my Spinebreakers. Why?
you need to use the mutator.
So that's what we did. We went to the mutator, used it as it was supposed to be used for, put our Spinebreakers together, and boom, our Spinebreakers were making sweet love. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to be able to wait for a baby to grow up. So we grabbed everything we need, including the Ascension Arena, and headed over to the fight. We didn't take any of our bosses because I wanted to use them to fight our final boss that you will see on day 100. We then went to this location, threw out all of our dinos, and set up the arena. But when I went to summon the first boss in, I had realized we didn't have enough element to summon them in. And I had already started the arena fight and the dome was up. So I teleported back to base, found this Skarner, and licked his butt with our Spinebreaker. Also, we could have enough element to be able to get into this fight. We flew back to the arena, but then this is when I realized I had made a massive mistake. I couldn't get back into the arena to start this fight. And it's already the end of day 50. We failed our challenge. Idiots! So now it's day 51 and I'm not going to give up until I complete this challenge. I get our new baby Spinebreaker and I use the mutator to speed up his growth. We're now going to have to go into battle with a new strategy. I create another Ascension Arena and then place it down close to base, but not too close. Then I go and tame this primal Megapithecus that was close to base and hope it can help us fight these bosses. I gather up all the dinos I possibly could that might be able to help us, and then I set them up in the arena. That's a lot of pretty pigeons. Then I place the element in the arena terminal and start the fight. First up, we have the Broodmother. We ended up losing a few of the tames that came into the fight with us. But can we take a moment to recognize how damn powerful this second generation Spinebreaker is? I mean, he is also 100% imprinted, so that probably helps. We defeated this Broodmother and we still have 2 birds left. They're either lucky or they didn't even fight at all. We backed it straight up and we summoned the next boss in. I really don't have much to lose, so why not? This was the Megapithecus. He was doing some pretty solid damage, but he was no match for our Spinebreaker. The pigeons did die though. May they rest in peace. Next, we fought the infamous dragon. He did this weird, crazy, shaky head thing that made us feel a little bit dizzy. Then he died. Now we must face the Manticore. I'm detecting a theme here. He brought in deathworms, and deathworms don't seem to like bubbles. Neither did the chrome Manticore by the looks of it. Lastly, and the most important fight, we summoned in the black hippo that seems to have a nasty rash on his underside. He's so lazy that he brought the Kraken in to help him fight, and for some reason we just got stuck in his belly for a large portion of the fight. So we chomped away and blew bubbles, and this kind of worked in our favor. How did it work in our favor? Because now he's dead. It might be a day late, but we have finally completed our first set of challenges for this 100 days. Now we must move on to our next set of challenges that will ultimately prepare us for a mega battle at the end of these 100 days. Day 52 and our next challenges are as follows. We must defeat all 4 of the Parados bosses with only Parados dinos, and we must tame them all by day 75. All these bosses will play a crucial part for day 100. Now that we have defeated the Pugnacia bosses and have these cool little ascension things, I wanted to celebrate by giving my tech suit some fresh new colors. Let me know in the comments what you think of my new drip by giving a rating out of 10. We then went out to start our new journey, but the tricky thing about summoning these Parados bosses is that you need to collect 50 of each type of soul. So a total of 250 souls to summon in each boss. And with 4 bosses, we're going to need to collect 1,000 souls total. We will not hit our target in this short amount of time, so everything needs to be perfect. So I get straight to collecting as many Parados souls as I can. I have found that the Parados dinos seem to spawn better here on the floating islands. Day 53, I forgot to start recording part of this day, but we tamed this blue electric manticore that we named Blue Arthur in honor of our red manticore, Arthur. Blue Arthur is going to help us along this whole Parados journey, unless of course he dies a tragic death like most of my dinos. Later on, we tamed this Guardian Ravager and we named him Demon. I mean, look at him, he's kind of freaky. Day 54, we continued collecting souls, but I also gathered some materials because I wanted to make some changes to our base eventually. We did also tame this Guardian PT, another Parados dino to add to our collection. We named him Birdie. We also tamed this flaming owl and we named him Shoto. You know, like the guy from My Hero Academia, because he's supposed to be a snow owl, but he's fire. Day 55, and yes, we continued some more soul hunting. This is going to be a long grind. Day 56, we found this Kronos wyvern, and I know that you can evolve them, so I wanted to tame it to see what it might become. This ended up being quite a difficult task, because as he hit me, he made me start tripping out like crazy. I did get a few trank shots in, but I was tripping so hard, eventually I got too close to the wyvern, and he killed me. We returned on our Guardian PT, only to find the Kronos wyvern already knocked out. So we tamed him, and we named him Hades, after the Greek god of the underworld. We returned back to base, and I crafted the Kronos token, which cost us souls. I probably shouldn't have used them, but I was really curious. We then evolved this Kronos wyvern into the epic Dreadnought wyvern. I named this creature Hades 2.0 and tested him out. His attacks are good, but not as good as our Blue Arthur, and he is also really hard to fly. So we landed him and kept him around for decoration. Day 57, we started creating some tech items for our base, but it would take some time to craft all that we're gonna need. So of course we went back to what we needed to do, collecting some souls, all the way through day 58 too. Day 59, we gathered some more obsidian from this volcano to craft some more polymer. As we were churning through it rather quickly, crafting all these tech items, we then started to upgrade our base. We didn't finish this build until day 61, but here it is, our fully new upgraded base. I added these two towers on top and a bridge in between. Currently they have no use for now, but I thought it might look cool. And it's also nice to have a roof on our base, I guess. Now that our new base is done, we must regain focus and continue on this Parados adventure. We now have enough souls to summon in the first Parados boss. We choose to summon in Draugr, the goddess of the swamp. I figured the most fitting place to fight her would be, of course, the swamp biome. We took Victor our Venusaur and Shoto our flaming owl for extra help, and then we faced our first Parados foe. With our Manticore doing over 4 million damage, honestly, this was really easy. After defeating our first Parados boss, I knew I now needed 250 more souls to summon in our next boss. So, I immediately went out to collect some more souls. It wasn't until day 62 that I realized I forgot to tame our own Draugr. So with the tameable summon and the special taming food, I went into this area close to our base and summoned Draugr in, knocked her out and tamed this tree-loving crocodile for our own. Day 63, 64, and 65, we were out here grinding these souls. And now it's day 66, we finally have enough souls to be able to summon in our next boss. This time we're summoning in Vulcanus, the god of fire. And this time I figured the most fitting place to fight him was not the volcano, but the desert biome. This battle was a little bit more interesting than our last because obviously Vulcanus is a bit more powerful, I suppose. I think it also makes it a little bit more difficult being that he can fly. And flying battles are kind of tricky, unless you just make him circle around and around and around like this. Come and get me, come and get me. Anyway, we finished it off quite easily. Of course, we got this win. Now that we've defeated Vulcanus, we can summon in a tameable version. So we went back to base and crafted his favorite food. Then we went out to the field so we could summon him in. But when we summoned him in, he didn't appear. We literally looked everywhere. We couldn't find him. We looked all around this area and even up in the skies. In the end, we just cheat summoned him in again. Please don't hate on me. It's just ARK's fault, not mine. We quickly killed him and then set up so we could summon in the tameable version once again. We did it high up in the sky, so at least he didn't glitch into the ground or somewhere where he might disappear. I set up my bow and took my shot. Missed the first time. Hit him the second time. Then I shot him again. Then he breathed fire. And then I realized I can die to fire. I never would have guessed. So we try it again, but this time we take our Griffin for a little bit of extra protection. But it was actually a little bit harder than I thought it would be. Firing these arrows on a moving target on the back of a Griffin isn't too easy. We almost lost our Griffin too. Its torpor was down, so we took this shot and finally knocked him out. And now we have our second Parados boss, Vulcanus, god of fire. Now that we have Vulcanus, I'll give you two guesses of what we did for day 67, 68, and 69. Yes, we had to farm another 250 damn souls. But thanks to adding the Creature Finder mod, it helped us out a lot and be able to find all the dinos we needed to be able to get these souls. So today, on day 70, we were able to summon in our next boss. Oh, where did he go? Ah, there he is. Let me introduce you to Udus, the god of the mountain. He has 310 million health. now a little bit less. And even after he bashes us in the head with his bone, he has a lot less health. And now Udis is dead. And when you kill him, he plays a song, but I'm afraid of copyright, so yeah, just believe me on that one. And with Udis' dead body right there, we quickly tamed up his tameable version. We now have 3 out of 4 of the Parados bosses: Udis, Drogon, and Volcanus. 1 left to go and 5 days left. This is looking pretty good. So for day 71, day 72, and day 73, we were once again hunting down these souls. Day 74, we summon in our last Parados boss, Michelle, Goddess of the Jungle. Seemed fitting to do the battle here. I know it's not the jungle, but at least it was open enough so we could actually see the fight. Now, Michelle might have a tough shell exterior, but she's no match to Volcanus' fire attacks. Once we defeated her, some music was playing, but I was afraid of copyright once again, so this is us rocking out to the music. Just pretend you can hear it. Also, once you defeat Michelle, you get her tech armor, and this is what it looks like. I think it's pretty damn cool. Then, of course, we quickly tamed up the tameable version of Michelle. We now have all 4 Parados bosses and have completed our challenge a day early. If you've seen any of my previous videos, I never complete these challenges. I kind of suck. It's now day 75, and yes, we've defeated Pugnacia and Parados bosses. So what now? We do have a major challenge that we want to defeat by day 100, but I'll explain that a little later on. Right now, I wanted to tame a few dinos that I haven't collected that I really wanted. So I start by taming this Glacial Giga. I've always wanted one. Their colors are pretty cool, and I know they're pretty handy in battle. When we're out trying to find more tames, we found this massive den of dire wolves. What the holy wolf? So I started attacking them and trying to clear it all out. Then this Parados Lightning Wyvern came to join in too. But because of the legendary Griffin's special ability, we knocked it out. So I figured we might as well tame this too. Next up, I found this abandoned Rex that was already knocked out, and I know that they can evolve, so I had to tame it. So of course, we went back to base so I could evolve this abandoned Rex. Once evolved, he turned into the Ruthless Rex. He looks the same, just more yellow on the belly. It's now day 76 and our next goal has come in. There is now a few Godzillas on the map and we must defeat them by day 100. But I want to fight these Mega Kaiju with the Pugnacia Mega Mech. I am missing a few key components to be able to summon one in, so we're going to spend the next little bit trying to gather all the pieces we need to be able to get our very own Pugnacia Mega Mech. Now we need to be able to summon in 3 of these Pugnacia mechs to be able to summon in 1 massive Mega Mech. Our biggest downfall is they require a ton of resources. So that's basically all we did from day 77 to day 79. We gathered crystal, metal, oil, and the hardest material we needed was polymer. Day 80, I thought I made a genius move. I crafted normal mechs, figuring that they'd be able to create a Pugnacia mech. So I crafted all 4 of them and the Pugnacia Mega Mech, put all 4 mechs together and started the transformation process, and nothing happened. And to make things worse, when you remove the Pugnacia Mega Mech from them, it breaks, and now we can't use it. This has set us back quite a bit. We need to gather all these materials again, including the Hippo Tooth. So that means we need to do the Ascension Arena again. I then go out to kill some of the bosses so we can collect some of the parts we need to get the Mega Mech. On day 82, thanks to some Google research, I discovered that there's a place on the map to gather some mass polymer. Yeah, this honey cave. I didn't know that. This is great. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at that. And we return back to our base with stacks and stacks of organic polymer. Day 83, we quickly sped run the entire Ascension Arena. We used the Parados Dino because we knew it was OP enough to get through them really quickly. It's now day 84 and we finally have enough materials to be able to make all the Pugnacia mechs so we can make one big mega mech. So with all of our mechs together, we start the transformation process. I'm really glad that this time it's working because now we have our very own Pugnacia Mega Mech. I really wanted to see what this thing could do, so we pumped up all of his levels, went out, swung our sword with a ferocious hit, and holy damn, 18 million damage. I kind of wish I did this a lot earlier. Looks pretty cool though, doesn't it? Day 85 and we saw this Chrono Rex, and I already know that we have this massively powerful mech, but I wanted to tame something else. It was close to base. So that night, we evolved him into the Dreadnought Rex. Day 86, while we're flying around, we spotted this thing in the distance. What is that? Oh, it's Godzilla! Now, considering he's supposed to be a scary kaiju, he's kind of goofy looking. Whoa, okay, settle down, bro. I decided I wanted to fight this guy on my Mega Mech. So we flew straight into battle to fight this goofy looking kaiju. We landed and we approached him with haste. Then we struck him with our sword, and it was over in one hit. That was rather underwhelming. We will fight some tougher Godzillas later on in this video. Stop! I need to preface the next part of this video. I literally had nothing left to do, but this is a 100 days video, so I stared at the sky for a bunch of days. Then I rode around on the hoverboard for a bit. Then we went to the bridge on our base and stared at the sky and waited for days to pass through. So now it's day 100 and all of our creatures are ready and prepared for this most epic battle. We summon in a Mecha Godzilla and a multitude of Super Godzillas, ready for our final battle. With all the Godzillas surrounding us, we jump into our Mega Mech and head straight on into the battle. It looked like the Mecha Godzilla was killing the Super Godzillas. Thank you. Once I got close to the Mecha Godzilla, I remembered we had a secret weapon. So I went back to base and got him out. Let me introduce you to Reptar. Reptar. We took Reptar into battle, but it looked like Mecha Godzilla was fighting another Mecha Godzilla, but he had 5.7 billion health. Reptar was holding this battle down, doing some serious damage. Until he wasn't. So back to our Mega Mech. We whistled every single dino to go into the fight, but it wasn't seeming to work for us for some reason. And the ones that did go into fight died pretty quickly. I jumped out of the mech to try and whistle them from the ground, and it kind of worked, but our Mega Mech died. Oh no. So we just jumped on our favorite spine breaker and headed straight into battle with that. This is where things got really fun. He made this final jump, and that was the last we saw of him. There you guys have it. That's my adventure in 100 Days Pugnacia Parados. My next 100 days, I'm going to play on a server, and I'm going to open up to all my Patreons. So make sure you become a Patreon, and maybe you'll be featured in my next video. See you next time. Peace.